I grew up in the fire service. From the time I was 7 years old, I was staying at a firehouse. Started firefighting when I was 16 as a volunteer. I became a career firefighter with DoD, Department of Defense, down in DC, and came to Frederick County and did a little over 11 years in Frederick County. May 9th, 2016, on a working house fire, pulling hose, went inside to do an interior fire attack, and the hose got pulled the wrong way, shoulder got ripped out, ended up separating the shoulder, went through multiple surgeries, physical therapy, and then finally the county decided to medically separate me. I was going to buy a house, dealing with another lender, assured I had a loan, told my place that I was renting from that I had bought a house and I didn't need to renew my lease. I went through a divorce during that time, along with the injury, so I had to claim bankruptcy during that. So my credit was shot as it was. And even with that, the loan officer was like, no, you're good to go, you're good to go. I've looked at everything, everything's fine. So now we're about a day or two away from settlement, and they were looking for a loan for me at this point. And I'm like, we go to settlement tomorrow. That was gut-wrenching, and I was in a panic, trying to figure out, I don't have family around here, so what am I gonna do? What's gonna happen? I don't have a place to live, and I can't provide a place to live. It was a matter of hours that I needed to find a place to go. Phone rang about an hour later. It was my realtor, Thomas. He said, hey, made a phone call, somebody's gonna call you. A guy named Jason. About an hour after that, I get a phone call from Jason Fox with NFN Lending.
Immediately, having my own family to think about, I was thinking, what if this happened to me? And so immediately I wanted to help out as much as possible.
He said, I want to hear your story. I said I was a career firefighter, I got injured, and ultimately medically retired after 3 surgeries and physical therapy. He said, can you prove all that? I said, absolutely.
And so we got all the information that we needed. We took it to upper management. Everyone put their heads together and said, yeah, this is a case of an extenuating circumstance, and NFM wants to help out.
And later that day, he called me and said, hey man, 30-year fixed. It was better than the original from the loan, the loan officer the month before. Well, from there, they ended up reaching out to the other realtor and were able to negotiate to get me and the boys into the place that I was buying before we settled. And wasn't homeless anymore, and everything was kind of right back on keel.
You're always hearing, of the ambulance going by or the fire truck, and my daughter says, I hope they're okay. And so it's always my thought now is that every time you hear that sound, someone's not okay. And in this instance, it was someone that's actually trying to help someone else who needed the help themselves. It was my obligation and my duty to, help him the best I could.
It was a relief. The boys were happy. I didn't even have to really, tell them what was going on. You talk about a weight off your shoulders. Somebody sitting on your chest doesn't even describe the weight that you have.
Sitting and listening to him tell the story again, just, kind of gets at me, thinking like, man, I really played a big part in his life to get him from a place of total disaster to a place of, I got my son a dog because I told him when we had a yard and a fence, I'd get him a dog again.
He wanted to know more about me, the situation, the story behind it, why, what happened, and that opened up a door to something that nobody else even remotely hinted about.